Hey there, everybody. New studio, new intro. I'm just here to remind you guys before you listen to today's episode, make sure you follow the show and subscribe wherever you listen. If you watch the show on YouTube, make sure you subscribe there, you comment, you like, and you share. Also, follow my social media, all of it, both Instagrams, my Twitter, follow it all. Your life is to be consumed by my life. Tell everybody that you know about me. Start conversations with the fact that the Smoking Simian is your favorite podcast. Bombard everyone that you know and love with the Smoking Simian. Send them links day in and day out of my show, of the episodes, of my posts. Get thrown out of your house because the only thing that you care about is the Smoking Simian. Do it. Enjoy today's episode. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in. We are live in the New London studio in New London, Connecticut, which, by the way, don't be fooled by their beautiful crane-ridden waters and cobblestone streets amongst these nice little small boutique-looking shops, because this place, let me tell you right now, is a dump. New London, Connecticut is a dump. I was fooled by the aesthetics just like many people. And where I'm living is supposedly the nicest area, you know? Where I'm living in New London, Connecticut is the waterfront area, which I guess is supposed to be the better part. Everybody I tell that I'm living in New London, they're like, oh, all the people in Connecticut. I'm like, oh, they're like, where do you live? I'm like, New London. They go, ooh, what part? And I'm like, oh, the waterfront. They're like, oh, that's not bad. That's not too bad. Mind you, I had one of the worst meal or eating experiences ever. Like, ever in my life. I remember the last time I went to a restaurant and was genuinely dissatisfied. With everything. With absolutely everything. The service, the food, the drink, the water. The water at this place. It's called Mikasa. Mikasa. I want to make sure it's the right one. Mikasa. Yeah, Mikasa Mexican Restaurant 2. Oh, so this is the second. So there's another one. So the original, it might be a little better. But this one, god-awful. If you're ever in New London, do not go to Mikasa. Terrible, terrible fucking place. Burnt veggies. Like, just not good. I don't think I've ever been dissatisfied to the point of leaving a shitty tip at a restaurant. You know, I was ready to not tip, if I'm being real, but the place was just awful, and you first come to New London, and you're like, you know what, this place is kind of nice, you know? Right in the downtown, they got these little shops, real little boutique specialized shops. You kind of think it's like, wow, this is a nice little waterfront community, and then you look out to the water, and it's nothing but machinery and cargo boats bringing in piles of bullshit. There's these real big piles of just dirt and sand and gravel just out in the water. And then don't forget that there's just bridges all over. Like, I live right next to a big fucking bridge, so every night all I hear is ooga. It's like it's either a train or it's a fucking boat bringing in. I'm right next to the Long Island Ferry and the Block Island Ferry, so they're always bringing in and pushing out these fat white people who just are husks. They're just these miserable people who come from either Long Island, they have family there, or they come back and they think it's a treat. They think, oh, we're gonna go on a big boat. We're gonna go on a big boat, and we're gonna shit in the boat, and the boat will actually let the shit out into the ocean, and then that's where people go swimming. All right, people go swimming around here. There's Fort Trumbull, which I haven't gone to yet, but I've seen pictures. It looks like the Pentagon. It looks like the Pentagon after the plane hit it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I mean, I haven't been yet. Maybe it's nice. I haven't been wandering around here very much, but a lot of it is closed down buildings. You walk down the main road. There's a couple main roads. There's State Street, where on either side you have either a shit store or a closed down building that is everything's being renovated. Oh, there's a lot of work the landlord of this place told me there's a lot of work being done in New London. Oh yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming. Really? I haven't seen shit. There's a piano store, there's a fucking yoga spot, there's a disgustingly soulless pizza shop down the street called Wings and Pies that sometimes I'm forced to go eat at, right? The other night I got home late. The only place that was open was Wings and Pies. Come on in here and eat fucking frozen jalapeno poppers, baby. That's the place I'm dealing with here. You get fooled. You come to downtown New London, you're like, this actually isn't too bad. But then you realize it's full of either empty white people who don't have much money and don't have much desire to leave this place, or just like sick, fucked up vagabonds, just wanderers who come off the train with no teeth, holes and tattered clothing, which is fine. I mean, hey, that's your life. I'm not judging anybody. I'm judging this town. I'm judging this town full of townies, right? And this is, like I said, this is the nice spot. I drove to a Burger King because one night I was feeling not so great. So when that happens, I like to gorge on food that'll kill me. And there's just this long stretch of road of just fast food after fast food after fast food after car dealership after fast food. And hey, what is better than that if you're an empty person? If you're an empty person who has not much going on, you live in New London. That's why I'm here, right? I am here to sit in this room that I'm in, right, and sleep on this couch. Sleep on this couch all alone. I have a bar right down. It's like 90 feet away, 20 steps. I mean, it is a small little dive bar. I like the place. It's cash only, and the people that go in there are just, Christ, you got bald-headed. You ever see a guy with a bald top of his head, but he's got long hair? That's a sad sight. That's not good. Bald on the top, long hair, and he plays the guitar. He plays in a band. I don't know what kind of band, but those are the people that go in there. Guys with these real big, thick glasses. No swearing in the bar. Like, how do they maintain that? That's what I want to know. How do they maintain no swearing in that bar, especially in a place like this? I mean, this place is just completely devoid of emotion. This place is completely devoid of personality. It's like the Gilded Age, right? You ever hear about the Gilded Age when it's like gilded is like, it's fake shit, right? It's dipped in gold, but not real gold, right? It's just smeared with fake stuff, and that's what this place is. And I'm stuck here for at least a year. But like I said, maybe I'll do a little more exploring. Maybe I'll see a little bit more of the sights. I haven't even taken my bike out yet. It's actually getting nicer out, so we'll see, But for the most part, this place. Oh, and the other night, just to add the cherry on top, the other night it was real late, and I have no weed out here, so my sleeping habits are terrible. I sleep very poorly, naturally. If I don't have some sort of substance to put me to sleep, I can't sleep, which translates into my normal life, right? I'm tired, I'm irritable, I'm hungry, I'm all these things. It fucks with your metabolism. It's good. But, I'm out here on a mission. I'm out here to do comedy. So, like, I don't really care about people. You guys know that about me. I am here to people watch and make fun of everything that is going on. But a couple nights ago, it was late, and there was a woman outside of my apartment. It was 2 a.m, beeping all night. Beeping and screaming out a window, getting out of her car, walking around and screaming, just saying nonsense, right? Nobody loves you. She's saying, like, nobody loves you. Her voice is, like, burned into my fucking mind like a teacher in the 3rd grade that told you were never going to be nothing. This woman was just outside, highly intoxicated. I'm not sure on what, what she's probably drunk, but she was just driving around. After she left this, she was in front of my building for about 15 minutes, beeping and screaming, 2 a.m. And that just shows you the type of people that are around here. That's most of the people that are around here, right? She's just the one that they let loose. She's the one who has no people watching her, nobody to tell her no. Like, she was just outside beeping and screaming. People in my building are opening the windows, telling her to shut the fuck up. She's like, I don't have to. And this woman is just sick. She's a sick lady. I don't even know how she had a car. She seemed like a woman who gets around on a skateboard or something else with wheels, right? Like, she found a wheelchair somewhere. That's the type of woman that it seemed like. I didn't see her, but I heard her. I looked out the window. I didn't see her though. And she's just screaming nonsense. And I was this close. Because I had work in the morning, right? This was a couple nights ago. This was Thursday night. I had to be at work on Friday in the morning. And I was very, very close to loading up my compound bow and putting one in her like an elk, like a big moose, and just watching her bleed out in the street. And ask her, what was that? What was that you were saying? Nobody loves you? No, what was that you were doing? Beeping your horn? And just shoot an arrow at, double-digit speeds through her stomach and just watch her fall flat on her face and push the arrow in deeper. Push it deeper so it rips her insides apart. Rips her gallbladder, and just watch her bleed out to death in the street. Watch the black blood just pour from her mouth like a faucet, and ask her these questions. What was that, miss? What was that? What was that you said? Nobody loves you. You're right. Nobody loves you. Nobody has ever loved you because you were put in a position to fail. That's the truth, right? Your family had you. And one reason or another, you ended up here in New London, and now you're beeping your horn, screaming at the world that nobody loves you. Well, there's got to be some truth to that, right, people? I mean, we have these ideas about ourselves, and sometimes they're positive and sometimes they're negative, but they usually come from a place of realism. Not always, right? Sometimes we have a lot of noise in our mind and all that type of stuff. But this woman was genuinely in pain, and she wanted someone to hear her. That's what it was. She wanted someone to hear her. A lot of these people out here need someone to hear them, right? I remember watching an episode of House, right? My favorite fucking show. And there was a guy, a homeless guy that not a homeless guy. It was just a guy that nobody knew about. And he was just screaming, writhing in pain. He didn't want any medication because he wanted someone to remember him. He wanted somebody in this world. Please, God, remember me. That was that woman. That was that lady. But instead of getting her point across and getting her message out to everybody, all she did was upset everyone, and she almost got a guy who is living in a room all by himself, who is on edge normally, right, who can't sleep, who has work in the morning. I almost went out there and killed a woman in the street, and I would have done it, and that probably would have gotten me to sleep, right? I would have said, shoom, with that compound bow, and I would have been able to sleep very well, knowing that woman died horribly in the street to a wound, an arrow wound in the stomach, and she just bled out, and nobody cared. That's the thing. Nobody would have cared. If I went out there and beat that woman to death with a heavy object, I'm trying to look around for something good. I don't know, with this frying pan that I got. I got a real heavy cast iron pan with eggs on it because I haven't cleaned it. Burnt eggs. But I would have went out there with the burnt eggs and just smushed her head. Just mushed it to death. Beating her to a pulp. And people would have watched and cheered and clapped. That's how angry everyone was because it was 2 a.m. and she's beeping and yelling. And it was honestly a missed opportunity. And if she ever comes around again, I don't know if I'll kill her, right? I don't know if I'll kill her, but I will definitely say something next time. And verbally assault that woman because, Jesus Christ, what a husk. And that's what you're dealing with here in New London. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, New London's great, nice, trendy town. No, don't let nobody tell you different. Listen to me. The train station, I feel like I was in the Old West. I feel like I was going to get fucking polio or typhoid or some shit just sitting in there. I was like the Old West mixed with like a homeless veterans center. You know, there were just guys in brown jackets just hobbling around with cigarettes hanging out, unlit cigarettes in their ear or hanging out of their mouth, you know, big scraggly beards, just women with one leg shorter than the other, just hobbling around, sweating, trying to look for information, trying to look for life, trying to look for something, some stroke of being, and it's not there. That's the thing, guys. New London is devoid of all of that. It is devoid of human interaction and human life. Maybe not interaction because there are some, there's some places I guess you can go, some hot spots in the city. But realistically, this place is a dump. And I want to let you guys know that because I care about you. If you ever come out, just know what the fuck you're dealing with. You're going to come off a bridge. This is a city that it's like an underpass. Right? It is like an underpass, very much like the state of Connecticut. Nobody gives a fuck about the state of Connecticut. It is literally just a connector from Rhode Island the higher northeast, because Rhode Island's a shithole too. But from the important part of the northeast, which is Boston, right? It is a connector to New York, right? Everyone says we got to drive through Connecticut to get to New York. Providence is easy to drive through, but Connecticut, you drive through forever. Now, the plus side, Connecticut has two redeeming qualities, right? The number one is the scenery and the wildlife. I won't lie to you. Driving through the state, kind of nice, right? When you have to drive through it to get to New York, it fucking sucks, right? Because you're just going straight down and it takes forever. There's 1,000 exits. But when you're driving around the state, it's not too bad, right? You see there's some good scenery. There's some good areas, but don't let anybody tell you different. The main cities in this state, the ones that I've been to, are garbage, right? Stamford is cool. Stamford is nice. It's because it's an hour from New York. That's the only reason why it's cool. But I went to New Haven recently. I went to New Haven to do an open mic, which I'll probably be going to soon. And if you guys follow my Instagram, you would have seen my stories. That is another embarrassing fucking city. And I've already talked about Hartford before on here, but New Haven, no wonder the only thing people talk about New Haven is the pizza. Nobody mentions that the Yale campus is in New Haven, right? I didn't even know that. I knew that Yale was in Connecticut, but I did not know that it was in the campus. The main campus is in New Haven. And what a shithole that place is. Oh, my God. The train station. I was sitting in the train station, and they had this big screen. They had this big screen where they were putting up little facts about New Haven, about the New Haven train station. And one of the things they put up there was a picture of Fidel Castro getting off of a train in New Haven. And it said, Fidel, I don't know, it had some like long paragraph, and it was saying, Fidel Castro visits New Haven, Connecticut. Like, that's a good thing. Wow. Very good. We had a vicious, ruthless dictator that hung out. He had to stop in New Haven. What did he stop at Sally's a Pizza and get a slice? Is that what he did? Did he go visit the people at Yale? Did he go speak to the professors at Yale about how you can control a whole society under an iron fist? How he was able to close off an island of people to the whole rest of the world and not allow them any sorts of freedoms? Was he able to do that in New Haven? And is that what you want to advertise about your city? I guess it is, right? If you're in New Haven, I guess it is. I guess you want to have a ruthless socialist dictator as a marketing point to your city. You want, especially in a train station, right? A train station is a monumental hub of tourism and people coming in and out of the city. You have to go through a train station a lot of times. And it's public transportation and the whole thing to get, not only just to get to different parts of Connecticut, but different parts of the country. You got to stop through New Haven sometimes. So you want the message of your city to be involved with a guy like Fidel Castro, who is an absolutely ruthless person. People died. People were killed because of him. People didn't have food. They starved in the streets. They didn't have medicine. They didn't have all this shit. You don't need me to tell you how bad of a person Fidel Castro was. But in New Haven, a place that houses one of the most prestigious educational facilities in Yale, right? An Ivy League school is in the heart of New Haven. I didn't see anything that even remotely hinted that Yale was there. I had to look it up. When I was on the map trying to walk around, because I was going to grab some pizza, which, by the way, is good, right? That is their only redeeming quality in New Haven. The pizza, pretty fucking good. I liked it. I'll be back for more. One thing I won't be back for is the scenery, though. I mean, Jesus Christ, there was nothing in that train station that said, we are the home of Yale University, an Ivy League school where presidents have come, presidents of the country have come through, and phenomenal people in academia have come through Yale, and there was none of that. But you know what they did have? A picture of Fidel Castro, letting us all know how great of a city that New Haven is. And my God, what a time. But like I was saying, the scenery, if you like hiking, you like woodsy stuff, Connecticut, not a bad spot, especially when you start to go out west. It's not terrible, especially when you're driving through. But the second thing that brings people to Connecticut are the casinos, right? The exploitation of the natives. Right now I'm reading a phenomenal book, The Heart of Everything That Is, right? The Heart of Everything That Is, yeah. It's about Red Cloud. He was a general he was a native general, part of the Sioux people. I think it was the Lakota tribe, and he was a bad motherfucker. He's one of the few natives that won a war. I think it's the only one. Don't quote me on this, but he's the only native to have won a war against the American army at the time. But exploitation of the land of the natives, very important to the economy of Connecticut, which kind of makes sense, right? Because a lot of the people that live here are white yuppies, right? They got a lot of money. Golf. They love golf out here. Mohegan Sun is where I work, but there's also Foxwoods. Those are the two kind of competing casinos. And it's great because, I did an orientation, obviously, like most people do when they start a new job. And they're over here trying to tell us about the spirit of a Quay and welcoming and all this stuff. And they go through the history of the Mohegan people and the Mohegan Sun and how that happened. And it is just gentrification at its finest, right? It is a display that is meant to be beautiful, right? But it is filthy. Like they had what are they called? A chief, right? They had a chief, one of the ancestors of the natives and the Mohegan people, and he was one of the spokespeople to get this thing going, right? Because as you know, Americans only allow natives certain areas to live, reservations where they're allowed to put anything, and normally what they do are casinos, right? And they made a monster. I mean, Mohegan Sun owns almost 60% of the market share of casinos in the Northeast. It's pretty much the biggest fucking thing going on, right, in terms of casinos. And that's great because, yes, it is a sign of peace, right? It's a sign of the white man and the natives coming together and really fueling the capitalist machine, which is great, right? Because both sides win. The natives get a little bit more exposure. Old white people can walk around and for 2 seconds be like, oh, wow, look at that headdress, or look at that symbol, look at that knitted quilt. And then they keep walking and they go eat Chick-fil-A, And then they walk down the stairs and they spend a bunch of money on a table. And I dare you to find me a person of Native American descent that works with the people at Mohegan Sun. There's the tribe, right? That's still a thing. They run, whatever. And if you work with them, I'm sure you'll meet descendants of the actual Mohegan people, and that's great. And they deserve to be in the high-ranking positions that they are. But it is literally just cultural appropriation, which is everything, right? I mean, it's that restaurant, Mi Casa, Mexican restaurant. Yeah, well, I shouldn't say that because it's a little small, like probably family-owned Mexican, joint or whatever. But it's more like Taco Bell, right? Taco Bell, it's Mexican at its most disgusting and simplest form, right? It's white people being opportunistic when it comes to culture, and that's exactly what Mohegan Sun is. It is a monstrous hub of money. I mean, Christ, if Mohegan Sun ever closed, Connecticut is turning into a parking lot for New York City. Realistically, if Mohegan Sun and Fox, even if Fox would stay open, Mohegan Sun is the spot. It's the spot, and it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. You walk through there, it's beautiful. It's meant to mimic the culture. It's meant to mimic the landscape of what this area once was when it belonged to the Indians before the white man came and took everything over. And that's where the main economy is in this state. It's people going to these casinos, which is why it makes perfect sense that it's in Connecticut, because it's just white people taking advantage of a culture that they have no attachment to. All they're there for is to spend money. They're there to spend the money they got. It's old people who are retired, and they go and they spend money, and they bitch and they complain when things aren't free, or they bitch and complain that they're taking things away. And how come we got to pay for drinks? Because this land that we're on, we completely stole from the natives. So I'm sorry if you have to pay $8 for a Bud Light. That's what the fuck it is. This was your doing. This was your doing, Gerald, you old fuck, sitting in this room betting on horses all alone. Where's your family? Did they abandon you? Did you gamble all your money away and your family hates you now, so the only thing you have left is to drink Bud Lights and complain at the people giving them to you while you bet on these random horses, right? On these races? Is this all you have left in your life, is to bitch and complain in a casino that is themed around the very people that we exploited and ruined the livelihoods of? Is that what your whole life is? That's what a lot of the lives of the people are in that place. They sit down, they do nothing. And I work at the sports book there, so if you come out, make sure you tell them that I sell all this stuff, because it's true. It is true. I don't give a fuck. It's very self-important people that go into this place. They sit down, they take up space in your section, right? Because I serve, right? I serve people drinks and food. I am there to enable people. Really, I am. I'm there to enable people. Eat this garbage, drink this poison, spend the money on the shit you're not going to win. And smoking's not allowed there anymore. But if it was, I would say, hey, here's a light. Here's a light. Burn it all. Burn it all. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? So really the natives win here. The natives are winning this. I know I started this as an exploitation of the native people, and it is, right? I mean, it is, but and I'm getting this point of view because of this book. I mean, Red Cloud was not backing down at all, and we're many, many moons from that time, but there's still natives who carry that way. There's still natives who say, fuck you, we're not engaging in this shit. And I have a lot more respect for those people than the corporate cocksuckers that decided to pair up with the new age of white men who are just mercilessly raping the land and the resources of the native people. Because that's all they have left, right, is the culture. We already took all their resources, all their land. All they have is the culture now. So that's why we have, kids where the kids make little paper hats with the feathers on them for Thanksgiving, right? And we pretend like there was, this and that. And I'm sure that there was some good stuff that happened too. And, the natives were fighting with each other, but it's us that came in and fucked everything up. But for some people, hey, and it's funny, they showed at the orientation, they show this big thing. And it's like, we got it all together, and they're doing some ceremonial tribal thing. Everybody's out in the woods around a fire talking, right? It's all the native people and the CEOs and all this stuff, the board leader, the board men. It's these white guys who have no idea what the fuck's going on. They're just trying to get paid. They're just trying to line their pockets. And then, it's a ceremony, and they cut the ribbon, and then they show, like, the first day Mohegan Sun is open, and it is mobs and mobs of those people I just told you. White, entitled, fucking, yuppies, Connecticut people who are just there to spend money and feed the machine. Feed the machine. And again, the natives are winning here. They're winning. It is a backwards, it flipped. The script flipped. And now the natives are winning. And the Americans, the people who go there, the patrons, are killing themselves off. They're just killing themselves off by just gambling debt and drinking and eating fucking as much food as they can. There's a 24-hour Krispy Kreme in there, and my God, is it phenomenal. Holy shit. What a place to be. If you're a person who likes to spend, if you're a person who is, it is a complete exploitation of the materialistic culture, and it is phenomenal. It is great to watch. It's great to witness just the empty of just the empty motions that these people go through of just ka-chung, ding. It's just, there's overstimulation of everything, just noises and sounds and smells, and it's just, this is the Mecca. This is, everything can get done here. We can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. And then you pay $300 for a room for a night. After you've already spent $800 on the gaming floor and $400 on food and booze and all this stuff. It is a place where money is made. It's a place where money is made, except for the sports book where I'm fucking working. Nobody goes in there. You know who goes in there? Morons. Morons who want to watch sports and spend no money. Hey, can I get you something? No, I'm just going to sit here. Oh, okay, you're just going to sit in the section that I have, take up my spot. Right, take up this table for people. Someone wants to sit and make me some fucking money. Doesn't happen. Then I work with a bunch of bubblegum fucking ladies. You know what I'm saying? Not saying nothing against the ladies. I love you guys are great. Y'all are awesome. But they're all these kind of just empty people who are just working and they're super young and they're trying to see how many balls that they can fit in their mouths so that they can make a little money. They can make a little money, And I'm over here running around like a fucking idiot, giving people waters for free and getting $2 at a time. Oh, thanks. Oh, yeah, it'll add up. Yeah. And then at the end of the shift, I got fucking $30. Thanks. Great. This is awesome. It is a place of extreme consumption and extreme privilege. You should see the looks on people's faces when you say that, this costs money. What? I got to spend money? Jesus Christ! All this money. I mean, what do you want? What do you want? Would you go to a restaurant and say, wow, this bread is good. This is free, and I'm spending money on the food. How come I don't get, a free bottle of wine? Because that's not how we fucking do business. Okay, that's not how you do business. So my time at Mohegan Sun right now, it's great to watch people. It's great to see things, but it is a pitiful place. It is a sick fucking place, and my job is not great. You'd think that working in the biggest sports book in the East Coast, right? That's what the guy who hired me said. The guy who hired me said, this is the biggest sports book on the East Coast, and, he's new. He's never worked in a casino, and it shows. It very much shows that he's new, and that place is, it's hit or miss, and you'd think that the biggest sports book on the East Coast, run by FanDuel, right? FanDuel, a monstrous sports betting app or platform, you'd think that would bring people in, right? A huge facility, monstrous screens. Nobody goes in that motherfucker. And if they do, they spend no money. They spend close to no money, right? And shit's expensive there. Tabs are, not tabs. The menu is expensive and it's junk, right? It's all garbage. And you're spending, $15 for a cocktail. with sugar and all this. You're going to drink it down in 2 seconds because it tastes really good, but nothing's going to happen. You're not even going to get half a buzz, right? Everything's very regulated and that type of thing. And how am I working there and making no money? That's what I want to know. How am I working at that place and making pretty much no money, right? It's weird. It doesn't make sense. So we're going to see. I mean, you guys know one of my favorite things to do is to leave employers on the hook because I am anti-job. And we'll see how long I can keep that up for because now I have to pay rent in this motherfucker. And granted, my monthly nut isn't too much different than what it was before when I was living with Caroline. We were splitting everything. This place is pretty cheap. I won't lie to you, but it we'll see. We'll see how long I last at this place. I want to last because after 60 days, 2 months, you get to you can apply throughout other things in the casino. So if they have a remote job or some shit like that, that'd be cool. That would be ideal. If they don't, I'm gonna leave the motherfucker. Fuck them. I don't care. So yeah, that's my time right now. One thing I haven't really mentioned at all on the show because I haven't had an opportunity is Will Smith. Right? Will Smith. Me being a comic, I am very anti... I don't want to say I'll boycott Will Smith, but I think he's a worthless scum of a person who I wish nothing but the worst for. Not actively, right? I'm not going to actively go out there and be a prick. Well... Maybe just this one time, right? Maybe just this one time I'll drag him through the mud. And I mean, who the fuck am I, right? Realistically, we would all kill to be in the position of Chris Rock. We would all kill to get slapped by Will Smith on the Oscars, right? All of us would. All of us would rather be there. But since we're not, and since we're just observers, that was a very sickening display. It was a very strange thing that happened, and I'm happy that he was booted. He's banned, right, from the Oscars for 10 years. They just put that out there, right, after he already stepped down. What should have happened is he should have gotten taken out of the fucking place, right? Someone else goes up there and accepts his award for Best Actor or whatever, and then that's it, right? He won Best Actor of the Year. And they had to, the Oscars are like, I mean, it's just sickening, right? The Hollywood, that right there was a display of Hollywood. A main display of the disgusting, soulless, wretched snakes that there are in that. Now, don't get me wrong. I love movies. I love shows and all that stuff. So I am just here as a social commentator. I am a hypocrite as well because I will go ahead and watch I Am Legend, right? I will go ahead and watch movies, but I am also, it's just like knowing that fast food is terrible for you, but you eat it anyway, right? But that was a display of, hey, this is a high society event. This is a club that you're not in, Chris Rock. You're not in this club. You're not. Right? No matter how successful you've been as a comic, no matter how successful you've been in show business, you've been in movies, you had your own show, we don't give a fuck. Will Smith is a monolith in Hollywood, right? Any of those guys would have gone up there and slapped the shit out of Chris Rock, and nothing would have happened, especially if they're going to be the winner of especially if they know that they're the winner of the, Best Actor. Well, that's the biggest award, right? That's the biggest award, the Best Actor. I don't even know what movie he won it for being honest. I'm kind of out of the loop. It was a very sickening display. But what I did hear, which is good news, is that Will Smith and his wife are actually going to be moving to Ukraine, and they're going to help the effort out there. That supposedly they're going to go and they're going to be helping people out. They're bringing rations, they're bringing ammunition, helmets, the whole thing, and they're going to be on the front lines, and they're going to be fighting. They're going to be right next to Zelensky, and they're going to be doing very well because he stepped down from the Academy. And he's banned from the Oscars. So they're going to go ahead and get their vests on, which is admirable, right? I mean, that's That's the next step, right? If you're going to go ahead and make an ass out of yourself and embarrass yourself and fuck up the Oscars, your next move should go ahead and go fight in a war. Go fight in a war and go help, right? And that's good. That's a very good thing that he's going out there, and they have this weapon where it's going to be great. They have this tactic where once the Russian bombers, once they get on the radar, the Ukrainian army sees them on the radar, they're going to shine a big spotlight on Jada's head, right? Jada's bald head, and it's going to go pa-ching, and it's going to blind the bombers, right? This is crazy, dude. This is some crazy next level, and this was all their idea. This was all their idea. It was right after their marriage counseling thing. They said, you know what? I have an idea for a weapon. If a war ever breaks out, we're going to shine a spotlight on my head, and while I get fucked by Zelensky's actually going to put his cock in my mouth at the same time, because what happens is when he shoves his massive cock in my mouth while you're watching, well, you got to watch, because if you don't watch, then it won't work. He's going to shove his massive veiny cock in my mouth, and I'm going to suck it. I'm going to suck it hard, so hard that veins are going to pop out of my head. So when that light beams off my big shiny bald head, it's going to create like a wave effect. It's going to be like a weird wave effect, and it's going to be that much more effective in blinding the bombers, and it'll spread it out, right? If I have big veins popping out of my head, it's going to be like, you ever like grilling? You ever grilling in the summertime and you see the waves of heat? You see the waves of heat. It's going to be like that, but waves of light, and they're going to go blind. And Will, you have to massage the balls. Massage the balls while he's doing the thing. And because that will only make it more effective. And then once that happens, we can all run out. Well, you can go fight. I need to finish, Jada needs to finish what she's doing with Mr. Zelensky. But will actually be on the front lines with a gun, assault rifle, ready to go, helmet and all, and Jada will actually be getting fucked the entire time. But once she's done, they're going to go ahead and get back on the front line. She's going to go ahead and be side by side by Will. But most of the reason why she's there is because of that extremely tactical weapon of shining a light on her big, bald, veiny head while she's got a big, massive Ukrainian cock in her mouth. And it's going to be, what innovation? What, we haven't seen innovation like this since nuclear weapons, I would have to assume. We haven't seen war and weaponry innovation the likes of this since the atomic bomb, maybe, in terms of how groundbreaking it will be and how many people will be able to use this. Jada will be, if this works the way that it does, and I think it will, she's going to be instrumental in defending all sorts of countries from all things. She's going to have the leader's big, thick phallus in her mouth while they shine a spotlight on her head, and it's going all over the world. She's going to do it all over the world, but Will has to be there to massage the balls to make sure it happens, to make sure that it keeps going, right? To make sure that he doesn't bust too quick. That's what he's there for. He's there to make sure that Jada has ample time to, once the radars are within so many miles of the area, once the radars catch the bombers within so many miles of the area, boom, they spring into action. He's got his balls, right? He's got the, Biden's nutsack. This is when, the bombs come here, right? When I've already spoken about this. But it's great. It's great what they're doing. And the Oscars handled the situation very, very well by knocking them off and saying, hey, take a step back and reevaluate what you want to do with your life. And they did. And they found their new calling. So I'm happy for Will and Jada. I really am. And that's really all I have to say about that. That's their life. That's their life. I'm just an outsider. I am a guy in a small room in New London, Connecticut, shit town, sitting here talking shit. And I'm happy for them. And I hope nothing but the best for them. And I hope Chris Rock has a phenomenal time touring. He's going to be at Mohegan Sun, actually. I'd love to see him, but I probably won't. But yeah, I mean, good for them. Great for them. You know, in other news, COVID, right? COVID's old news, right? COVID, nobody really cares about it anymore, right? Nobody really cares about it. Honestly, World War III is even dying down, if we're being real, right? World War III, the coverage on that shit is slowly dying down, right? There's other things that people are talking about, but I read an article, I think it was an AP article, that's what it was, and I'll pull it up, actually. There's a man in Germany who's getting very creative. And he got, man in Germany gets 90 COVID-19 shots to sell forged passes. A 60-year-old man allegedly had himself vaccinated against COVID-19 dozens of times in Germany in order to sell forged vaccination cards with real vaccine batch numbers to people not wanting to get vaccinated themselves. Hey, this is what happens when people are thrown into poverty. You gotta get creative. Humans are gonna survive, guys. Humans are going to survive. That guy is gonna pay his bills. 60 years old in Germany. I don't know if they have a social security thing in place there. I don't know what they do for their retired citizens. I don't know what plans they get. But this guy is getting creative. This is what happens when people are thrown into crazy situations. They're going to find ways to make it happen. And soon, it'll be a requirement to get 90 vaccinations, right? If by some crazy stroke of bad luck that a new variant comes out, the new thing will be everybody has to get 90 vaccinations. Everybody has to get infinite number of vaccines. Everybody should get vaccinated 8 times every day. Everyone should quit their jobs, just get vaccinated. I mean, this guy, he ended up getting arrested, but he's going to be a visionary. I've said this before, guys. The people who break down the door never get to see the success. They don't. This guy is, he's getting creative. He's getting creative like we all had to, right? And he might be on the brink. He has such great forethought, right? 90 COVID vaccinations so that he can sell the forged. I mean, why did nobody else think of this? Why is he the first guy? This is why Germany is ahead in the world in terms of technology, right? This is why Germany has the fastest cars. They have the most innovation when it comes to automobiles and the technology. That's why everyone always talks about German engineering. You know, it's because of people like this. People are so innovative in Germany. I mean, look at it historically, right? Nobody since Adolf Hitler has tried to create a perfect race, right? Nobody since him even had the thought. Imagine just thinking of creating a perfect. You have to be on another level. You have to be on drugs, which, he was. But you have to be on another level to think that you can create a perfect race, right? But that's the German ingenuity, right? That's the thinking. They know where the world is going before it happens, right? The perfect race. Which, if you think about it, not saying what's going on in the world now is anywhere close to the horrors that was going on in Nazi Germany and the Holocaust. But if you think about it, people nowadays are looking for a perfect society, right? People are looking to be happy all the time. They're looking for things that were once obscure to not be obscure, right? They are, society is so hung up on the idea of everybody being accepted and included and accounted for, which is a good thing, right? It is a good thing. And progress has been made. But how long before everything is so perfect that we're absolutely we're absolutely brainwashed, right? Our minds are solely consumed with the idea of everything being good all the time, which is impossible, right? Everything can't be good all the time, and people can't be good all the time. There's no such thing as a perfect person. There's no such thing as a perfect race. But if everything is just mechanically operated, if people didn't need to do menial jobs, everyone could just spend their time creating things, right? They could be creating things. They could be, wasting their days in a mindless hobby or a mindless action that would, because everything else is perfect. There's no more human error, right? There's no more human error. So a perfect society isn't, the idea of creating a perfect race is absolutely insane, especially the way that Hitler went about it, right? Killing motherfuckers, exonerating the earth of certain types of people, performing experiments on people, all terrible fucking things, right? All terrible things. But there's all type of experiments that are not physical experiments, right? Not, people getting injected with certain things and seeing what happens to them. No, but there's, the looming thing over everybody's head right now is the metaverse, right? We all talk about it. It's going to come. It's going to come quicker than everyone thinks. And, when that happens, everybody is perfect, right? Because the physical body will be obsolete. Nobody cares what they look like. Nobody cares about their health because they'll have an avatar who will be perfect. They'll have a world that is perfect, right? And then once they take off the Oculus, it's just, this is the vessel. I'm going to sleep now. I got to sleep. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be able to sleep with the Oculus on, or our minds will just have this innate ability, or we'll have something in our minds, in our heads, that'll just help us live in a perfect world all the time, right? And that is coming sooner than most people think. Wendy's, right? The Wendysverse. Have you guys heard of this? This is going to take off, mainly because it is the cross-section between newest technology and fattening food. Fattening, disgusting food, and corporations that are trying to build a culture to hide the fact that there's that the shit that you're ingesting and the shit that you're feeding into is actually incredibly detrimental, right? That's just like porn. It's just like bad food. It's all that stuff, right? And that is where it's crossing in the Wendysverse. This is another article. I'm going to pull it up. But what it is Wendy's is actually in partnership with Horizon Worlds. Horizon Worlds with the Oculus. Horizon Worlds, for those who don't know, it's a virtual reality kind of game place where anybody can kind of be involved. You have an avatar, and there's all these different programs that can happen, or you can be a part of. And the Wendysverse is partnering with them, and soon you will be able to hang out in the Wendysverse. It's not just a restaurant. Like, you can go there, right? There's a fast food restaurant, fast food Wendy's. You can go behind the counter. You can hang out. Hey, look at me. Whoa. Imagine a world where going behind the counter at a fast food place is something that's fun, right? Every other time until this point in time in history, being on that side of a fast food counter has been... being on either side of a fast food counter is miserable. But if you're on the other side where you're working for them, nobody wants to be there. Why is all of a sudden, just because we're in a virtual world, yeah, we can all hang out in fucking Wendy's, in the back of a Wendy's. Wow. So look at this. The Wendysverse is more than a virtual restaurant. It's a virtual world that starts with a virtual Wendy's restaurant. The first phase of the Wendysverse, fans with a MetaQuest 2, which is the new Oculus, can venture into a whole new delicious world built by community creators. Look at this. Wendysverse Town Square, a Wendy's restaurant fans know and love, replicated in the virtual world. Players can go behind the counter Meet up with friends and get ready for a mouth-watering adventure. Virtual hot and crispy fries, anyone? ? So, going to an actual Wendy's is already a miserable thing. Going to a physical Wendy's is already like you're either just trying to get something quick to eat, or you're physically in pain and you got to wallow it down with some shit. Maybe, you got to feed your family real quick and you know that this is, you're on your way home from work and whatever. Well, just pick up Wendy's for the family. We'll be fine. And that's fine, right? But there's never a time, unless you're a kid, right? Once you grow past being a kid and getting toys in your meal, fast food places are just sickening, disgusting spots, right? As a kid, it's like, whoa, yeah. And your parents feed into it. We're going to Wendy's. Yay. We're going, yeah. So, but in their minds, they know that what they're doing is disgusting. They know it, right? They know for a fact that what they're doing and the shit that they're feeding you is disgusting. But they put it at the back of their minds, right? That's what everyone does. We all do it. And then afterwards, you feel bad. You're like, I ate that garbage. I gave it to my family, whatever. Now it is looked at, now we can all hang out together. Let's all hang out together in Wendy's. What are we, in fucking middle school? Let's all go to the new Wendy's and hang out. Grown people are going to have avatars that can hang out in Wendy's. How can it be delicious? It said mouth-watering adventure. How can it be mouth-watering? There's no food. There's nothing. You're going to look at the screen and, oh, yeah. And then you get in your the whole thing is for you to do that, and then you get in your car and you drive the fuck off. Aren't video games supposed to be a distortion of reality? Like, not a distortion of reality, I shouldn't say that. Aren't video games supposed to be a place where reality actually doesn't exist? You're supposed to be in a video game. You're supposed to be running around in space or running around in a battlefield, killing people, and you get killed and nothing bad actually happens. You're fighting monsters. You're racing a car really fast. Isn't that what you're supposed to be doing in a video game? Why is this virtual world becoming so lame? Why is now the virtual world... The virtual world was initially supposed to be an escape from the real world. It was supposed to be, hey, we're in this game and we're doing shit that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise, right? If we weren't in GTA 5, you can just run people over, you steal cars, you kill motherfuckers, you pick up prostitutes, you fuck them, you take their money, you kill them, and you take your money back. That's what you do in GTA. You run away from the cops. You do all that shit. That's what the games are for. That's what the virtual world is for. It's to get you, even social media. It's to get you away from the real world. You look at the shit on social media, you say, wow, that other guy's way better than me, I'm going to go kill myself. That's what the virtual world is for. Now, the virtual world is just going to be regular shit. You can go get gas in the virtual world. Wow, in the Metaverse, you can go get gas. You can go grocery shopping in the Metaverse. Your avatar can buy tissues at discount price. Wow, look at that. You can go car shopping. You can go to the bank. You can go stand in line at the bank in the Metaverse. When's that going to happen? That sounds like fun. That's all. Hey guys, I'm getting off work. I'm going to put the Oculus on. How about we go stand in line at the doctor's office? Let's go sit in a waiting room at the doctor's office and read old magazines. I think that sounds like a lot of fun. We should do that. Right? You'd think in the Metaverse it'd be even crazier, it'd be even wilder. Right? Instead, people are just going to Wendy's. Let's go to Wendy's. Come on, Metaverse. Wow, technology, huh? Look at that. Here's the other thing. Wendy's, this is the other part of the Wendysverse. It's not just the town square. It's not just the restaurant. That's just where it starts. That's just where it starts. Wendysverse Partnership Plaza. Just in time for the madness. Players can head over to the Buck Biscuit Dome, where they can storm the court, shoot hoops with a virtual Baconator, and cut the net following a winning shot. So if you're not one of the few people that have been a part of a winning team, of a nationally recognized college basketball team, to where you could cut the net after you've won a big game, maybe a national championship, maybe a big conference championship. If you were never a part of that, which most of us aren't, right? And that used to be okay. It used to be okay that not everybody did everything, right? It used to be all right that some people got certain opportunities that other people didn't get, right? Maybe I've never been a college athlete who was able to do all these things and win a national title and whatever the fuck else. But there's some things that I do that maybe those guys didn't get to do or those people didn't get to do. You know, everybody's supposed to have a unique experience. Now everybody is going to get to cut the net, virtually, of course, cut the net off of a virtual hoop of winning a game. And it's said with a Baconator. Does the Baconator mean it's the ball? Shoot hoops with a virtual Baconator. Is the Baconator the ball? Like, do you shoot a Baconator, or are you playing with a Baconator? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand it. And then you get to cut the net of the winning shot. Everybody gets to do everything now. The Metaverse will allow everyone the opportunity to do everything in a fake place, in an absolutely fake place. And the crazy thing is that fake place will one day matter more than this physical fucking place, which is insane. It's insane, right? But it's just as insane as if you told a guy in the 70s, hey, you know, we'll be able to talk to each other. You'll be able to see my face and communicate with me. And we're not in the same room. We're not even in the same town. I could be across the world. In 40 years, you'll be able to do that. Motherfuckers, get the fuck out of here, smoking cigs next to a baby, you know, in the 70s. But that's like now, right? Now it's like that is arguably more important than the real world. There's so much shit that's done in social media and virtually and all that stuff anyway, that now it has become more important than the real world, which, I mean, the Metaverse is the next step. It's going to be a whole new world, which is insane. And it makes sense, right? This is perfect timing because the real world is close to ending. So those who get to live will be living in a absolutely barren landscape, a landscape that has been ruined by years of wars. Soil is completely destroyed, so the world is devoid of any real vegetation or growth. The only animals that are alive are the ones that have been mutated, and cockroaches, of course, they get to live. But the ones who have been mutated from years and years of radiation are the ones that are able to adapt, and now a bear looks completely different than it did, 40 years ago because of the years of evolution and what it had to go through. Well, 40 years is kind of a small amount of time, but you know what the fuck I'm getting at. The animals are going to look far different, and the people who get to live won't be able to leave the vessels that they're in, whether it's underwater, whether it's underground, it's in the air, who the fuck knows. They won't be able to leave, so all they'll have is the Metaverse. The outside world will be nothing. The physical world will be completely and fucking destroyed, but at least you can go to Wendy's and win a sausage or bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit for $1 in real life. Now you have to go in real life, but by that point, they'll be able to, transport the particles of a bacon, egg, and cheese from Wendy's on a biscuit. They'll be able to transfer the particles from where it is to your fucking location. So, all in all, guys, I mean, things on the horizon look fun, right? And this is already there, right? This is already there. When did the Wendysverse come out? April 2nd. The grand opening of the Wendysverse. April. So it's already out there, guys. I'm late. I'm 7 days late. I mean, this is the horizon. There are great things coming, guys, and I hope you guys are excited. I hope you're excited because I'm excited, right? I am here in New London doing comedy for as long as I can until the physical world is inhabitable, right? Until the physical world is, and I am here dealing with psychos and loony bins, just walking around, stumbling around in the streets, asking for cigarettes and a place to call their own, which they'll never get because they're sick. They're from New London, Connecticut, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to be a part of them and to bring phenomenal shit to you guys. This was a long episode, guys, and I think if you missed my last episode last Thursday, I think this is what we're going to try and do more often because, like I said, guests are going to be a little different. It's going to be a little tougher to get guests, especially in person. I'm ready to blow up FedEx. I'm ready to burn FedEx to the ground because I've ordered a bike rack a month ago and it's still not fucking here. And I got this bike in the middle of the room taking up as much space as possible. I got a bunch of junk in here that I was supposed to go to the flea market today, but like I said, I've been sleeping like shit. So I took the opportunity, the day off from work, to sleep in and do a podcast for you guys. But nonetheless, it's Monday, motherfuckers. It's Monday. So get the fuck out there. Have some fun. Get into the Wendysverse, man. Cut that net. Play basketball with a Baconator. You can't do that in real life. It'll just flop. It'll come apart. Play basketball with a Baconator in the Metaverse. Hang out with your buddies behind the counter. And have a good goddamn time, man. Have a good goddamn time. We're going to try and do an hour with these solo episodes. I might do them twice a week now. We're going to see. We're going to roll with the punches. You motherfuckers better keep listening because I'm going to keep doing this shit. I don't care. We're getting close to 200. I don't know what we're going to do for 200, but it might not be anything. Who gives a fuck, really? Dates. Where am I going? Stand Up New York, April 22nd. That's the only one that I have. So in a few weeks, that's a Friday. Stand Up New York, April 22nd. If you want to go, show the fuck up. They charge tickets through Venmo and whatever else. So that's it, gang. Have a lovely day. Hey, I'm back to reiterate all the stuff that I said at the top of the show. Follow and subscribe. Bye-bye.